we are told that there existed previous Buddhas in this world system. What is a world system? If all the Buddhas existed in this earth, in this world, then how could it be possible, knowing that from archaeological and historical facts, human civilizations only existed not so long ago? If the Buddhas exist in other world, then which world and which period? This is the question. So we are told that there existed previous Buddhas. Who told us? Who told us that there were many Buddhas? The only Buddha can tell us, nobody else. So how many Buddhas appeared so far? 28. Why only 28? Can you remember their names? Cannot. I can remember. Do you want me to mention their names? Tannankaro Mahaviro, Medhankaro Mahayaso, Saranankaro Lokahito, Deepankaro Jutindharo, Kondanyo Janapamukho, Mangalo Purisasabho, Sumano Dhiro, Revato, Rativadhano, Sobhito, Gunasampanno, Anomadassi, Januttamo, Padumo, Lokapadjotho, Narado, Varasarathi, Padumuttaro, Satthasaro, Sumedho, Aggapuggalo, Sujato, Sabbalokaggo, Piyadassi, Narasabho, Attadassi, Karmiko, Dhammadassi, Thamonudo, Siddhatto, Asamo, Loke, Tisso Varada Sangaro, Pusso Varada Sambuddho, Vipassi, Chanupamo, Sikhi Sabbahito, Sattha, Vissabhu, Sukadayako, Kapusandho, Sattvaho, Konagamano, Rananjaho, Kassapo, Sirisampanno, Gotamo, Sakyapunga. Right? 20 years. Because I have met all of them. Do you believe that? What is the name of the last Buddha? Gautama the Buddha or Sakyamuni? Mostly in Mahayana or Chinese use the word Sakyamuni. Sakya or Gautama or Gautama. Then the Gautama the Buddha. Why do we say Gautama the Buddha? Can you give me the reason? Gautama the Buddha. Why? Cannot. Buddha is not his name. Gautama is the name. If not Siddhartha Gautama. Buddha, after gaining enlightenment, anyone can become a Buddha. That is why he said the Buddha. Gautama the Buddha has met 24 Buddhas. He met all of them together or separately, individually? How did he meet them? Together, in one place. What do you think? What is your opinion? Not within one lifetime. So when he was practicing, working, cultivating, developing, training all the good qualities and virtues and eradicating all the weaknesses and defilements and immorals and bad habits. You had to work such a long period. So when he was working for this enlightenment, he met the previous Buddhas. After that, he got their blessings and confirmation that the previous Buddhas confirmed that this person one day become a Buddha. That is how he gained that confidence to continue. So with confidence he cultivated all the great virtues. There are three periods: Mano Panidhaya, Vachi Panidhaya, Kaya Panidhana. Do you know the meaning? What is mana? Have you got mana or not? Got. Where? What is mana? Mana means mind. The word mind or man is derived from this word, remember, this Pali or Sanskrit word, manas or mana. So this determination, this aspiration or this ambition to become a Buddha, he maintained, he cultivated in his mind. First period. Then Vachi Panidhaya. What is Vachi Panidhaya or Vak Panidhaya? Vachi, Vacha, Panidhana. Verb. By using his word, by cultivating all the good qualities, by expressing his aspiration, announcing that he is working to gain his enlightenment. Then, by using his physical body, he has done every possible effort to gain his enlightenment. He had to fulfill all the 10 perfections, paramitas. Can you remember? What are the 10 perfections or paramitas that he had to cultivate during his previous birth, life, afterlife? What is the first one? Dana, Sila, Nekkamma, Panya, Virya, Kanti, Satya, Aditthana, Metta, Upekha. Very good. Now, meaning. These are Pali words. How he cultivated. So why I wanted to reveal all these things? Today, there are so many new Buddhas. From other countries also, certain Buddhas migrate. After that they introduce, this Buddha is more powerful than your old Buddha. Your old Buddha has no teeth also, they say. Our Buddha is very fresh, more powerful. Then people believe, oh, this new Buddha is more powerful, must pray. That is how they bluff and mislead innocent people. They can create, they can produce any number of Buddhas nowadays. There is no difficulty. So what I wanted to tell you, what are the qualities and the virtues, characteristic of a person for that person to gain enlightenment or the Buddhahood or to become a Buddha? If not, whether another person can appoint somebody to become a Buddha. So when you study Hinduism, yes, they are God. Reincarnations of the same God appear from time to time. So the God is responsible for sending reincarnation. The Buddha is not reincarnations of any God or any Buddha. Remember this. And some others say prophets, messengers of God. The Buddha is not a prophet, not a messenger of anybody in this world. All the other religions talk like this. Again, when you come to one aspect of Mahayana Buddhism, they also say there is an eternal Buddha who appears in this universe forever. And all the other Buddhas who appeared from time to time are just a shadow or replica or incarnation of that eternal Buddha. Certain Buddhists believe this. We contradict to the basic teachings of the Buddha if we try to introduce that the Buddha is sent by another person, Buddha is created by another person, or Buddha is appointed by another person. It is impossible. And that is why it is necessary for a person to cultivate all the great qualities and the virtues. Otherwise, no one can become a Buddha. On the other hand, the Buddhahood is not confined or monopolized to one particular person, either son of God or messenger of God or prophet. Anyone who cultivates all these qualities can become a Buddha. Not reserved only for one particular person or one group of people. Now if you think that you want to become a Buddha, if you can maintain this determination and aspiration and fulfill all the great qualities and the virtues, one day definitely you also can become a Buddha. So these are the 10 perfections. Meaning, first thing is dana. What is dana? What is charity? Dana is not charity. Remember this. This English word is wrong. Charity gives different meaning. So, whenever we contribute, sacrifice something for the benefit of others in order to reduce our selfishness, to reduce our craving, that is called dana. It is not charity. When you practice charity, you may develop sympathetic feeling, but you never reduce selfishness. By giving, you want to get many things in return. That means you increase your selfishness. You increase your craving. That is not dana. The main purpose of practicing dana is to reduce, to eradicate, to wipe out our selfishness and craving. That is what the Buddha did in order to gain his enlightenment. Now we perform merits. by practicing dana, by giving dana, by doing lot of good deeds, meritorious deeds, our main idea is to accrue merits in order to enjoy our life either as human beings or devas or in heaven or somewhere else. There is selfishness. And such persons cannot become Buddhas. If they practice dana or charity in order to experience worldly, mundane pleasure, worldly life, they cannot become Buddhas because selfishness is there. So, he practiced this life after life to reduce selfishness, reduce his desire or craving or attachment. When the mind is free from all the defilement. That is the meaning of dana. Next one. What is the next one? Sila. What is sila? That meaning also wrong. Very poor meaning actually. When you say morality, there are man-made morals, government-made morals, and natural morals. But sila is higher than morality. What is the meaning of this word, sila? We observe moral due to various reasons. But sila is not like that. The meaning of this word is training, discipline. We discipline our mind, discipline our words, discipline our action. We train our mind, we train our words, we train our action. Then how are we going to train? What is the technique? We train our mind not to misuse, not to abuse. That is called mental training. We train our word not to abuse, because we always abuse by using wrong word, vulgar word, wicked word which hurt and disturb others. So when we train properly, we cannot misuse, we cannot abuse. When you say moral, can you get this meaning? Then we trained our body. We try to discipline, to behave, to maintain without disturbing others. By using our physical body, we can do enormous disturbances, disaster. So when we train our body, we cannot misuse our hand, our leg, our body. Of course, everything comes from the mind. There is nothing to train in the body. When the mind is trained, body is automatically trained. But we use in that way. Kayena sangvaro sadhu, sadhu vachaya sangvaro, manasa sangvaro sadhu. Dhammapada says, it is better for you to maintain this discipline in your mind, in your words, in your action. That is called sila. Right. Dhanam, silam, nekkhamma. What is nekkhamma? Meaning? Right? Renunciation. What is renunciation? What is the meaning of renunciation? go out, shave your head, change your clothing into this, renounce. Finish, isn't it? That is called renunciation. But all selfish ideas, jealousy, greed, anger, silly ideas are still maintained in the mind. Then where is renunciation? After shaving their head, after using yellow robe, you can see some are more crazy towards many things. Some have more craving and more jealousy and more anger. Then where is renunciation? This is only for us to indicate or to recognize that this person has renounced. Of course, external renunciation also. We renounce our hair and give up all our decorations and gadgets and all sort of colorful, beautiful things, no more. Only piece of cloth. It is also renunciation. But important renunciation take place in the mind. As lay people, you can do lot of renunciations. The more you reduce your craving, attachments, anger, the more you maintain your dignity, your discipline. You have renounced so many things. By leading a simple and humble life, you renounce so many things. You renounce your pride. That is a very difficult thing for you to renounce. You are very proud. If you can renounce that pride, that is the highest renunciation. To be humble, to lead a simple life, that is renunciation. Next one, panya. What is panya? Wisdom. What sort of wisdom? Panya is not knowledge. Knowledge means learning. By maintaining memory, what you have learned from the book or what you have heard from others. So you accumulate all these things. That is called knowledge. In that knowledge there is no wisdom. You have enriched storehouse of your mind to accumulate more ideas, more concept, more belief, more imagination. That is knowledge. Wisdom appears in the mind through experience, analyzing, having gone through trials and errors and mistake. The feeling, realization that appear in the mind, there you can see wisdom. You never gain wisdom simply by learning anything. You have to think unbiasedly. You have to analyze unbiasedly. And you have to come to a certain conclusion unbiasedly. The wisdom is there. So our wisdom is biased, not advanced. There are a lot of dirts in our wisdom, not pure. Selfishness is there in our wisdom. Egoism is there in our wisdom. When you study the great thinkers in this world, philosophers, wonderful intellectuals all over the world. What a wonderful brain or mind they have. We regard them as wise people. Yes, they are wise. But their wisdom is not pure. We can point out there are so many human weaknesses in their wisdom. Either anger or jealousy or egoism, especially egoism, egoistic ideas or selfishness or hot temper. Some of these human weaknesses you can find in them, although they are wise. Even founders of many other religions also, when you study their life, you can see jealousy and anger in their way of life. So it is not pure wisdom. Wisdom must be free from those dirts, mental defilements. Real wisdom appears in our mind when mental defilements were completely eradicated. When the mind is pure, real wisdom appears. The wisdom that we maintain at the moment is not pure. Still can be misled, misused, abused. That is why it has taken such a long time for the Buddha as a Bodhisattva to develop this wisdom. Dhanang, Silang, Nekkammang, Panya. Then Virya. What is Virya? Virya or Virya? What is that? You also must learn this Pali word, very important. What is Virya?
Effort.
Effort. We have to use our effort by using our mind, by using our body. Mental energy is more important than physical energy. So when we come to know we have some weaknesses in our mind, use full effort to get rid of them. That is a wonderful effort. When you have certain bad habits which disturb others, must have strong determination, willpower. You have to use full effort to get rid of this. If you are used to do certain things which are not accepted by the society as good things, like smoking, drinking and gambling, not accepted by the society. Every religion condemns. Wise people condemn. Majority in this world condemn. These are weaknesses. So if you can make up your mind, use your full effort to get rid of them, that is real effort. Then, to cultivate your way of life by knowing the nature of existence, try to divert your way of life through the correct path. You have to use your effort. These things you cannot do simply by praying to anybody, remember this. You can pray and worship to any God, any Buddha. Not necessary to use your effort for that. Very easy. That is called lazy man's religion. Praying praying and worshipping is a lazy man's religion. The Buddha did not introduce this kind of lazy man's religion. He introduced a way of religious life for us to use our full effort and energy, understanding, whether we pray or not, whether we worship or not. If we direct our effort through proper channels, we reach the target. We reach. Next one. Kanti. What is Kanti? Patience. What is patience? When you are powerless to attack another person, you keep quiet. That is patience, isn't it? No? When you are very weak, you keep quiet. That is patience, isn't it? What is patience actually?
Endurance.
Pardon?
Endurance.
Yeah, that is another word, that's all. Say something which you can understand easily. How to do that? There are two words, patience and tolerance. Not much difference. Tolerate. When we tolerate, you say patience. This is a very difficult thing to practice. So simple, but very difficult. Because we cannot keep quiet. Either we must say something or do something. If not, radiate hatred, anger. No patience, no tolerance. We may keep quiet. When another person comes and scold, if you are a culprit, real culprit, you keep quiet like this. That is not patience. Patience we have to practice through understanding. When another person comes and scold you, abuse you, insult you, attack you, then you think very deeply. This person who abused me, who attacked me, is not a cultured person, not a religious-minded people. And his mind is misled by either his anger or jealousy or grudge or enmity. Mind is misled. That is why he behaves like this. Considering in this way, you try to control your anger towards that person. You try to maintain your normal way of life or attitude without showing any hostility. That is called patience. I have told you this story, this incident, I do not know how many times, better to repeat again and again. This is a good example. Many years ago, a very elderly monk visited this place from time to time. He was very hot-tempered. He come and shout and disturb us. Sometimes he come and sing and enjoy. His mind is like that. It was going on for some time. Then I told one of his friends, I think something is wrong with that monk's head, mind. Something is wrong. And that person told him that I told he is mad. Next day he came to see me. I was in my office. He was very fierce. He shouted at me, "Why did you say I am mad?" I knew the situation is very dangerous now. So now this is the time for me to act wisely. Wisdom is important here now. I should not jump at him, then there will be a big fight there. Then I told him, "Can't you understand that I am also mad?" Then he, after thinking for a short while, "How can you say you are mad?" Then I told him, "If I am not mad, how can I say you are mad?" Believe me, he started to laugh. Settle the problem. That is the advantage of patience. In the end, one who practices patience wins the battle. Remember this. Don't show your anger at that time. Don't show your enmity. If you can control your mind without allowing your mind to develop all these things, it's a very difficult thing. Train and train and train, and one day you will achieve, you gain it. There are many previous birth stories of the Buddha, Jataka stories, to tell us how he had to practice this patience in spite of various disturbances, and who tried to kill him, accuse him. He practiced that patience. Then Aditthana, next one. What is Aditthana? Aditthana. Next one. Determination. We determine. Yes, we always determine but break. This is the nature of our mind. Today we decide. In future I am not going to do this. After few days time you do that again. Because the mind is very, very uncertain, very unreliable, our mind. Circumstances, environment, temptations, irritations, all these things change the mind. To maintain strong mental energy, willpower, determination, you have to train and train and train and train, take hell of a time for you to train this mind. Otherwise, always is a fickle-minded, wavering. No proper principles, always change. Then, when we try to do something, good thing, there will be so many disturbances. It is natural. We cannot do good things without facing challenges and disturbances. Because we are going to do something going against a strong force, evil force. Evil forces are very strong. So when you want to swim in a river, the water current is very fast, running very fast, you can understand the difficulty of swimming against the current. But you want to save your life by crossing this river by swimming against the current. So when we try to do some good thing, obstruction, disturbances, hindrances, criticism, accusations, we have to face. You must have courage, to face all these things, to do our good work. That is called determination. So the life of the Buddha, when you study what sort of disturbances, hindrances he had to face, but he never surrendered himself. He has never violated his principles or the precept or paramitas because of their strong determination. Next one. What is the next one? Metta. What is metta? What is the English word?
Loving kindness. Loving kindness.
Loving kindness. What is it actually? What is it? Simply you say loving kindness. What is it? Very easy to say loving kindness. What is the difference here? Now there are two words. Love and kindness. Two things, isn't it? We join these two together. Then we say loving kindness. Love is there, isn't it? You must understand, love is very dangerous. Selfish love, sensual love, worldly love. All these things in the end or in return one day definitely disturb us. Gives enormous headache and problems and difficulties. This is the nature of selfish love. Example, husband and wife develop this love, very strong love. What is the nature of that love? It is selfish love. It, if not, is sexual love. Worldly, under worldly conditions. And why husband and wife develop hatred, anger, jealousy and fight and kill? Because of that selfish love. Friendship. We develop our love towards each other when we associate with our friends. And why do they become enemies one day? Because of that selfishness in that love. Girlfriends and boyfriends before their marriage, at the beginning it's a wonderful love, and later you can see how they fight. Selfishness is there. In that love there is selfishness. Here in this word, this metta, you cannot find selfish love. Free from selfishness. In fact, there is no such belief that we must gain something in return as a reward. It is not metta. So the real meaning, the suitable English word for this metta is goodwill. Understand? So when we develop our goodwill, in that goodwill there is no selfishness. Because always we wish good health, long life, prosperity and all good things, but without expecting anything in return. The correct English word is goodwill, metta. So we develop this without any discrimination. But in your love, you have discrimination. You develop your love only towards your children. You never extend this love toward your neighbor's children. You cry when something happened to your children, but you never cry if anything happened to your neighbor's children. Now you can understand the selfishness. In metta, you cannot find this. Equal, no discrimination. Extend this kindness or compassion or goodwill. So in loving kindness or goodwill or metta, no discrimination. It is pure mental force that we radiate with understanding, and by cultivating good qualities, without selfishness, without anger, without jealousy, without grudge. Mind is free from all the evil forces. Then metta is there. Upekha. What is upekha? Equanimity. Another word? Another simple word? Pardon? Calmness is not that. Calmness is not under that. Unbiased. Unbiased attitude. We are biased. We support, we assist, we like only certain things, certain people, certain group, but not others. So if we can treat all those living beings without showing any discrimination, if we can regard in this way, all these are living beings, whether humans or animals, all are living beings. All these living beings experience pain, just like me. There is no difference in my pain and their pain. Pain is pain. If I hurt them, I can understand how they feel. Because I know, I can understand how I feel when another person comes and tries to kill me, torture me. The same feeling I can find in them also. Can you consider in this way? So by considering without any discrimination, you can treat others. You have reached the maximum level in your mental purity and understanding and wisdom. It is very difficult. That is why it is mentioned here in the end. At the beginning it is difficult, but somehow or the other, one day, we had to develop. No other choice. Next one. No more, isn't it? Last one. These are the 10 paramitas, 10 perfections for a person to develop life after life, to become a Buddha. Now you can understand how difficult it is for a person to become a Buddha. Why it will take such a long time? And why millions and billions of human beings come and kneel down, bow down, worship, pay respect, because they can understand this achievement, this gaining enlightenment is the most difficult task in this world. So this person gained. Therefore I bow down, I respect, I honor this person. Not only Buddhists, even many followers of many other religions also respect in appreciation of that achievement. So the question is, so we heard that there were many Buddhas. What evidence have we got to prove, archaeological or historical evidence on this earth, to show that such Buddhas appeared? When I explained, I think 2-3 days I have explained the nature of world cycle. Can you remember? I have divided the whole world cycle into 4 periods. Can you remember? Samvarta, Samvartasthai, Vivarta, Vivartasthai. Today I am not going to explain. Already I have explained. The nature of the whole universe, not only this earth. Suns and moons or galaxies or anything that which exists in the whole universe are subject to this universal law of impermanency, changes, decay and disappear. So this world cycle, from the beginning up to the end, or the destructions of this existing world, and there is nobody to come and destroy, although others say there is somebody to destroy. It is natural. Appear, change, decay, dissolve, disintegrate, disappear. Reappear, change, decay, dissolve, disappear. Reappear. This is the nature of world system. Not so easy for us to understand. So, human civilizations appear and disappear. Some other religions says God created this world within 1 week, about 6,000 to 7,000 years ago, that's all. At that time, their knowledge about this world is very, very shallow, narrow, very limited. That is what Bertrand Russell, one of the best Western philosophers, mentioned in his book. Why do I respect the Buddha? He was not a Buddhist. He is an agnostic who hates every religion. He doesn't like religion at all. But even then he says, I respect the Buddha. Why? All the others made a false statement about the beginning of this world. They say this world was created by so and so at such and such time. Then he says, it clearly shows how poor their understanding capacity about this world. That is why they say, this world was created by so and so at such and such time. The Buddha is the only religious teacher who never said that this world was created by anybody. Because he knew what this world is. Therefore I respect it. Again, S.G. Wells, a well-known historian, when you read his history book, you can see what he says. We were taught, according to our religion, that this world was created about 6,000 years ago. But when you study geology, geography, astronomy, we can understand this tiny globe, this earth, millions and billions of years ago existed, and it has taken millions of years to cool down. Then how many more millions of years has taken for living beings to exist? But our religion say within 1 week created only 6,000 years ago. S.G. Wells, they were not Buddhists. They study only their subject. So, I have mentioned this in my book, What Buddhists Believe. If you want to know anything about this world, worldly things, please don't depend on any religion. You cannot gain real truth from any religion. All this information that religions give you, mythologies, beliefs, imaginations that people maintain at that time when they started to record. Even in many Buddhist books also, but not the teaching of the Buddha. Many books written by the monks, you can see such information about heaven and hell and this and that, all these stories. These are the common beliefs that people maintain at that time, recorded in the religious book. So don't accept all this information about this world. What religions, not only one particular religion, any religions, because religions depend on belief and imagination, not through experiment. Scientists have discovered so many things in this world which religionists could not understand, because they had blind faith, they had imaginations, they maintained mythologies. But scientists throw away all these things and done experiments. But they have not discovered everything. But what they have discovered so far, we can accept. Whether we have religion or not, we can accept. So this is the nature of world system. So within one world cycle, the Buddha says, sometimes within one particular world cycle, only one Buddha. The reason is the difficulty. People have not completed all the great qualities to become a Buddha. That is the secret. If there are no Arhantas or Buddhas today here in this world, that means still people have not completed all the great qualities and virtues to attain that higher stage. Many people are worldly minded, not religious minded. And certain world cycle may be 2 or 3 Buddhas appear from the beginning up to the end. So the Buddhas are Kicho Buddhanam Uppado. It's a very, very difficult thing. See the appearance of a Buddha. Here again he says, this world cycle. Now we are living within this world cycle. 4 Buddhas already appeared. And there will be another one before the end of this world cycle. Altogether 5. But Within certain world cycle, only one or two. So, whatever we build as our human civilization, our culture, our religions, all these things appear and decay and disappear. That is why it is necessary for Buddhas to appear from time to time to reveal the truth which was disappeared. Culture, morals, ethics, religious way of life, wisdom, all disappeared. When another Buddha appeared, again start, reveal the same thing. Now let us study archaeological or historical evidence. Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. Already they have discovered there were civilized human beings in that part of the world. They say 25,000, 50,000, 75,000 years ago. They could manage to find out only that much. Some fossils, evidence are there. Ruins of certain buildings and how they lived at that time. No one can deny. Historical fact. Again, human race, human culture develop and develop and develop and decline and decline and decline and disappear. Again build up. So it is impossible for us to trace back, find out the evidence when and where and how the previous Buddhas existed on this earth. The world system also completely disappeared and reappeared. But when you read some Buddhist book, you can see some legend and tradition that people maintain in India. They say these traditions were there during the previous Buddha, Kasyapa. That means before the Gautama the Buddha, nearer to the Sakyamuni Buddha. There are many legends. So don't expect historical or archaeological evidence to prove about the previous Buddhas. It is impossible because the world cycle appear and completely disappear. Well, still got some more tales here and there, isn't it, in these questions? Archaeological, historical. Human civilizations only exist and not only. So he wants to know whether the Buddhas can appear in other part of the world system. Universe is endless. There is no beginning and no end. Infinite. World system, world cycles, and living beings also infinite. There are four things that we cannot understand. Throughout our life we try to study and learn and think, still we cannot understand. Four things, remember. Don't waste your time to know everything. The Buddha also condemned this. They say utter wastage. You are going to waste your time because you never realize real truth. Incomprehensible. Why you waste your time? Buddha Vishaya, Loka Vishaya, Kamma Vishaya, Satta Vishaya. You never get the clear picture of any of these four. Or sometimes jhana Visaya also mentioned. The Buddha Visaya. The nature of the Buddha's enlightenment. It is impossible for you to understand. What is this enlightenment? But you can learn little bit. That is why you create your own Buddhas. And some others say incarnations of this Buddha and that Buddha. All rubbish. How can we expect the incarnations of another Buddha? It's a lack of understanding of the enlightenment. Then, Loka Visaya. Universe. Universes, not only one universe. Remember this. Thousands of suns, thousands of moons, thousands and millions and billions and trillions of galaxies, world system. No end. Astronomers or astrologers have learned little bit about this much. Their knowledge about the world system is when we peep through the crack of a wall to see outside, the certain areas we can see. You know, assume there's a crack here in this wall, and you peep through this wall, then you can see outside certain things. And their knowledge, what they have realized so far is only that much about the world. The Buddha said, don't waste your time. You never realize the whole. And even by knowing also, you won't gain anything. The next one is karma. We cannot understand how we accumulate karma, how we deposit karma, and where we deposit our karma, and how these good and bad karmas affect us from time to time, and why certain karmas that we have committed, the effect of that particular karma come to us after so many births. So we cannot understand the nature of karma. We create our own imagination. Sattva, living beings. Why these different kinds of living beings exist in different parts of the world? What is their shape? Why this shape take place in this way? Why this color is like this? Why some living beings can fly? Some others can live in the water. Some others can walk on the earth. Some others have no leg. Some have 2, some have 4, some got so many, some have hundreds. Why? You can go on studying and thinking all these things, you never get the clear understanding. Then why waste time? By knowing all these things, you never get the chance to get rid of your problems, your worries, your sicknesses, your old age, your death, whatever you have to face them. So the Buddha's advice is, you must concentrate on your problem, your own problem. Don't worry about those problems. So the Buddhas never appear. Remember this. Buddhas never appear in heaven. The Buddhas never appear in Brahma world. Buddhas never appear in any part of the universe. Why? Only a human beings can become a Buddha. A God, a Deva, a Brahma cannot become a Buddha. Why? Human beings have enough potentials to cultivate that mind, to develop up to that maximum level to become a Buddha. Devas and Brahmas cannot do that. They haven't got those ingredients, potentials in their mind. So the Buddha, during his previous birth, he was in heaven. He had to come down to this earth to become a human being in order to become a Buddha. So what is the difficulty for him to become the Buddha in the heaven itself? It is impossible. There are many reasons. Person must be a human being. This is the answer to this question. Oh, nearly 1.5 hours. One more question in this series. What is this? Next Friday. Yes, about human beings. Difficulty of becoming human beings and fortunate and unfortunate. Human problem. That is last one in this series.